everybody hear me now? Okay, my name is Earl King, and I've been with the Kelly Company now and under Walter T. Kelly Company for 41 years. And we want to welcome the Grayson County Historical Society to your meeting tonight, and we're hosting you tonight to tell you a little bit about the history of the Kelly Company. And I'm still searching for a good opening line, but I can't find one. Now, I know meetings go like that sometimes, and I've been through church meetings, I've been in all kinds of things, so I understand that. But again, we want to welcome you to the Kelly Beekeeping Company. And I did take a few notes down so I can at least tell you a few things about the company that you may not know. Some of you may know a few of those things, but in the beginning, Walter T. Kelly and Miss Ida Babin Kelly were married and lived in Louisiana. Now, Mr. Kelly was raised in Michigan, and she was raised in Louisiana, and was a nice Southern lady. So, Mr. Kelly, after he had graduated from what is now Michigan State University, decided to, after he actually went into the Air Force. And in the Air Force, after he got out of there, he went to work for the government. So where did the government send him? Louisiana. And there he met Mrs. Kelly. So he was working on a project for the government to eradicate boll weevils. And so anyway, they met there and were married down there. And he remembered years ago, back when he was a child, of really enjoying beekeeping and having a beehive. I think when he was like 7 or 8 years old, his grandfather gave him a beehive, and he just enjoyed messing with the bees, just having his own honey and just tending to the bees. He loved them. So they decided to start making beekeeping supplies in Louisiana. In Houma, Louisiana, in 1924, he formed a company called the Gulf Coast Bee Company. And they began to sell bees and queens, and they began to make beehives out of cypress lumber down in that area. And for several years they worked that way. They even worked out of their house basically to make these supplies for beekeepers. And I've been to Louisiana several times, and I've met people down there that knew them when they were there. And we actually talked to some people that had found some old beehives that had his brand on it, actually. So these were very heavy beehives. They weren't just like these today. They were very heavy. And after a while, the cypress lumber in his area there dried up kindly, and they couldn't get enough cypress to make everything out of. And they'd kindly been wanting to be more centrally located, because shipping, you know, shipping today is horrible. And back then it didn't cost as much to ship, but you weren't getting as much for your products. So shipping became a problem with it, and they decided to become more centrally located, so they located in Paducah, Kentucky. They were over there from 1934 to 1951, and somewhere along that 1950-51 area there, the government decided to build a hydraulic plant over there, a big, huge power plant. And they lost a lot of their employees because they couldn't pay as much as the government could pay there. And so after consideration, they decided to move again. They had been through this area in Grayson County several times and remembered the farm that you're sitting on right now. And it has about 110 acres altogether. So they decided to buy this place and to start a beehive factory. Well, from accounts that I've heard, it was just unheard of to start a beehive factory in Grayson County. Nobody knew what it was. They had no idea. And I'll be honest with you, I went to work here when I was 18 or 19, around that area, and I didn't know it existed. And I was working at an IGA store, and this lady said, "You ought to apply for a job at the beehive factory." I said, "What? What is a beehive factory?" You know, and I kind of had an idea, but I didn't know where it was at or anything. So I came and met Mr. Kelly, and about a week after that, they called me into work. I thought, well, I'll be here for a little while, and they'll get unbusy and get slack, and they'll start laying people off, you know, stuff like that. So through all the layoffs and the slackness and the busy times, I've kept my job here at the Kelly Company. I've really enjoyed working here. I've enjoyed what I do. The second move actually came in 1952, and 1953 is when he opened up here in Grayson County. And they actually moved parts of the buildings in Paducah all the way up here on flatbed trailers, and reconstructed part of it. They had men that worked for them that were really talented and they could build things, and so they actually built most of the buildings, built his house. And so anyway, he always had people on staff that knew plumbing, knew electricity and all that, so he was self-sufficient. He wanted to be self-sufficient. Now, after he was here all those years, in 1986, he passed away, and his wife had preceded him in death about 3 years. So in 86 he passed away, and about 83 is when his wife Ida passed away. They had no children and nobody to leave the company to, so they decided to set up a trust, an active trust, where that the company would operate for 20 years past their death, past his death, and for 20 years the employees would have a job. They would be able to continue working. And for part of that time, from about 93 to 2006, I was vice president of the company, and Sarah Mannion was the president of the company. So in 2006, though, that all ended, and everything became the property of the Grayson County Hospital Foundation. They had assumed it, I think it was like August of 2006. And for about 1 year period of time, they brought a CEO in, began to run the business. I think they decided this just wasn't for them. You know, they're all businessmen, you know, things on the board and all that. So they sold the business part of the Kelly Company to Mr. Alan Bernard and Joe Papaya. Joe Papaya is out of Louisville. And until September the 8th, 2014 is when they sold this business to the Franson Corporation. That's F-R-A-N-D-S-E-N Corporation. The Franson Corporation is located in Minnesota, and they own several other entities. They own the Kelly Company, Kelly Beekeeping, excuse me. They own Franson Financial, which has about 35 different banks up in the north land there. They own Plastech Corporation, which is an injection molding plastic company. They also own Industrial Netting, which creates netting, like you see orange netting and things like that along the roadways and stuff like that. So Industrial Netting. And Miller Manufacturing is one of their larger companies, which employs about 400 people. This building that you're in now is about 82,000 square feet. That building is 400,000 square feet. And Miller Manufacturing actually is into poultry equipment, talking about feeding troughs, you're talking about all kinds of chicken feeders, all kinds of products like that. And the Kelly Company, as it is today, manufactures beekeeping kits, almost like this, but not completely like this. And we actually ship those to Miller Manufacturing, and Miller actually puts those in farm-related stores such as Farm and Fleet, you know, and different stores like that. So they're one of our larger customers, probably the largest customer. And we actually send tractor-trailer loads of parts to them about once a week or 10 days. So those are like 5 companies that this Franson Corporation owns. We're the only beekeeping company. Now Miller Manufacturing does sell beekeeping equipment and has for a while under Little Giant, was the trade name that they had, Little Giant Beekeeping Products. Now, to talk a little bit about our company today, we have about 4 or 5 different operation buildings. We have the Beeswax Foundation building, which creates things like this right here, which are inserts that have beeswax in them, and they have a bee comb design in them. Those go into these boxes, 10 in each box. The large one goes into the brood chamber box where the queen lays eggs and new bees are hatched out and produced. The top ones have the smaller frames, which when the bees build these cells out with wax that they secrete, they actually deposit the honey back in there and then seal it over with a little bit of wax. And this is two products, or we have several different sizes and different styles of this foundation that they make. But this gives the beekeeper a chance to pull out a frame to see if the queen's laying, to see if there was any diseases into the beehive or anything like that. Now, before in, say, the 1800s, 1900s early, there was things called bee logs, bee trees, bee gums, where that bees were kept inside these different types of boxes, but you couldn't really pull a frame out and see them. The lame straw hive, which this is the model after, has removable frames, which allows the beekeeper to say, oh yes, the queen's laying eggs, I can see larvae in there, and I can see how the bees are doing. So these products are made from 100% beeswax, and we have to secure a lot of beeswax around the country. We use about 200,000 pounds of beeswax a year, and that ranges in price from about $3 to $4 a pound. So we use a lot of wax, and we're one of two companies in the whole U.S. that produces this type of product out of beeswax. So they either buy it from us or the other company. So we actually make this product for other companies as well. They purchase it from us. We also have a sheet metal shop, and you're not going to be able to see that tonight, but they actually create products out of stainless steel. When you have honey, you got to have a way of getting it out of the frame, and you got to have a way of getting it into the jar. We make products for that out of stainless steel. Honey bottling tanks, storage tanks for honey, extracting equipment that slings the honey out. Some people call them a honey slinger, but those products are made in our sheet metal shop. We also will get to look in this area tonight. The wood shop and assembly are in the same area. So the wood shop produces products like these, and we have another section of our wood shop that actually assembles products like these. So you have the opportunity. Today we have people from a lot of different walks of life that keep bees. They don't always have time to put things together or paint them. So now you can order your beehive fully assembled, the frames assembled, and painted. So that's a really big service that we're offering for the beekeeper. Just depends on how much you want to spend for it, you know, how much you want to do it, or if you wanted the experience yourself to put it all together and paint it. You know, that's an experience. That's part of beekeeping. So we'll get to look through the assembly department and the wood shop. We also have a sewing department. We have about 5 or 6 different people in there that actually do sewing. Protective equipment for the beekeeper. If you're going to go out and check in your beehive, you want to be suited up. So we make jackets, we have coveralls and jackets, and we make hats and veils that you can purchase. The beekeepers can put on and go out, gloves, different styles of gloves that you can put on. And when I go to check my bees, I want to be fully suited. I like them, but I don't like the stings. But anyway, I enjoy beekeeping, and I don't get to do as much as I'd like to, but I enjoy keeping my own bees. And honey is a gift that you can give somebody that they can't give you back. You know, you can swap ties, or you can swap this or that shirts, but you can't swap honey unless they have bees. So I think, you know, I give it to my family and all that. So it's a gift that you can give somebody that they just really can't give you back unless they have the same bees. We also have a retail store in this building, and we allow people to come in another door down here. And some of you have already been shopping. You can actually go in there. Beekeepers come in, and from out of state, we've had people from West Virginia. We've had people from other states here this week. Every week we have people from out of state. So they can come in, pick out their bee supplies. It's all labeled really neat. You'll get to see that. And whatever they don't are able to pick up in the store, you go out to this warehouse and we'll call, and they'll bring it up to you and help you load it. So if there's a big box with an extractor or something in it, they'll help you load that out. So you have the retail store, and you can buy honey, you can buy bee equipment, you can buy honey candy, you can buy T-shirts, you know, etc. Things like that. So number 6 is our operations in the office in here. We have sales representatives that, as you'll get to see in our office in here, there's cubicles set up, a lot of cubicles set up where people are taking orders. They're actually talking to customers on the phone and receiving those in. At this point, I might point out that we do produce a catalog each year, and this catalog goes out to many thousands of people. And One thing that I do here at the company, my main job is that I do trade shows for the company. So like last week or a week or so, I was in Alabama. I go to their state organizations, and they'll have a large meeting. Some of them are large, some of them are not as large. But I set up a display and I talk to people, meet customers, sell products from the display. So that's my main job that I do here. I'm a trade show specialist, or that's my special thing that I do. Also, I talk to customers every day, answer questions. I've been here long enough that I should know a few things, you know. So they do call on me to answer some things once in a while, but we do have other people that answer those questions too. So not only do we have the catalog that we print, but you can go online and we have the same catalog. You can go to your computer and flip the pages in the catalog. We have a really good website, which is www.kellybees.com. You can go on there, place your order, have it shipped to you, and we keep that updated. We're on Facebook, we're on Twitter, we're on all the social medias, and we found out that you've got to move along with the times, you know. So we have people in there that are doing sales reps. We have trade show reps, which is me and a couple of other people. I do about 20 of these a year. So we actually go to national shows. It could be on the East Coast, could be on the West Coast, could be in the South, could be in the North. And we do those national shows where you have like maybe 1,000 to 1,500 beekeepers that have come together to learn, and we display for them. So about 20 and probably around 40 to 45 with everybody that does trade shows. There's a couple other people, so they don't do hardly as many as I do, but we do coordinate everything together. We have management and HR offices in here. There's over 100 employees here now, and as you'll see when we go through the factory out here, we're not only planning for right now, but we're planning for the future. And within 5 years, the company that is our parent company hopes to see Kelly Beekeeping double in sales, and in 2025 they hope to triple. And that's several millions of dollars. So we're looking forward to the future. That's going to require more employees. That's going to help the Grayson County people out. And we have people from other counties around that work here too. It helps our entire state out. So we have management and our HR, and our new building was planned right down to the very small details. We have what we call WIG teams, and that stands for Wildly Important Goals. And we're gonna, when you go through the office in here, we're gonna stop for a second, you'll get to see that room. We call it our war room. And that's where we do all of our planning at. Or we keep our graphs and things that are planning. So everything about this building, about how everything is set up, down to the very minute details, was planned in meetings by these folks that are working here now. We have job opportunities that are available. We have people in sales, a person who likes to do sales. We machine operators, welding, soldering, warehouse, shipping, woodworking, assembly, you know, just about anything you can think of. So, or you can just be a beekeeper. Come and buy your bee supplies from us. How's that? So that gives you a little bit of information about the history of the Kelly Company. I hope it's not been too boring. I'm wanting to not let it go too long so you don't get bored, but we're going to go now, and we're going to go into the factory, or through the office first. Yes?
Can I ask a couple questions?
Yes, you may.
All right. First off, I think I know the answer, but why are beehives always white?
They don't have to be. They need to be like a light color. I've seen beehives that are pink. I've seen them gray. I've seen them yellow. Pastel colors actually, like the beekeeper, they usually wear white. It just it tends to calm the bees down somewhat. They don't like really bright colors. Yeah. Like it seems like they're violent to them or something. You know.
Doesn't have anything to do with hive temperature.
The hive temperature.
I said it doesn't. The color doesn't affect the hive temperature.
Oh no, not really. Now, if you paint it black, it's going to get really hot.
Oh yeah.
But you know, any color of a pastel color, like gray or something like that, would be fine. We just normally see a lot of white beehives out, you know, and it's just been the general thing. Mr. Kelly would have never painted one gray or pink or yellow or anything like that. But to answer your question, it doesn't matter a whole lot, just so it's a light color.
Speaking of him, I know the original facility here had separate buildings for everything.
Yes.
What was his reasoning?
Well, that reasoning was really defined in 1995 when we came to work on, it was a Thursday morning maybe, I think maybe it was a Monday morning. We came to work and we saw our wax department on fire. And 1995, August 28th, I remember the date. We came in and it was just, and it burned for 2 or 3 days. You know, they kept putting it out, kept putting it out. In most companies and most industries, that might have been a death thing for a company to go through. However, we got on the phone that very day, called our competitor. We actually shipped truckloads of wax to them. They produced our foundations for us for about 6 to 7 months. Now, there's not many industries that will do that. And they really helped us out during that time. And I know they had to put on a lot more employees and to take care of, they had no idea how much wax foundation we used, you know, even back then. So the reason for that is if one building burns, everything doesn't burn. You can always move stuff to another area. It was very smart of him to do that.
I heard that.
Yes.
And
Anybody else have a question?
I have one more.
Oh, okay.
And this doesn't have to do with the Beekeeping Company, but I heard the other day that they're putting honeybees on the endangered species list.
That's really possible. Today there's more beekeepers than it's been in a long time. Like I said, I do trade shows year round nearly, so every meeting that I go to, they'll be expecting, if they're expecting 300 people, they'll probably have 450 people. You know, and it's just the colony collapse disorder that happened a few years back, where the beekeepers were going out and they had honey in their hives, they had everything was left there, but there's no bees. Well, they went through the thoughts of maybe it's cell phone towers, you know, and all, you heard everything, you know, or diseases, pests, you know, spraying and stuff like that. But they really never did figure out what it was. I actually met the gentleman in Pennsylvania that run about 3,500 hives. That the first one that knew about the colony collapse disorder, he was the one that talked about it first. In those meetings that I've been in since then, in those years, this has been about 6 or 7 years ago, I haven't heard near as much about that. That's pretty well taken care of itself. But beekeepers have to be diligent. You know, it's not, you can't just leave them sitting out there. Today you have to really watch them because there's hive beetles, there's varroa mites, there's ants, there's all kinds of little predators that's going to get into your beehive. Years ago it wasn't nothing. You could put your beehives out. Only a couple of things you had to worry about was European foul brood, American foul brood, or just a couple of things like that you had to treat for. Now you had to really doctor those bees, which is kind of bad news for those people that want everything organic or they want everything non-treated. Yes.
Well, and you also send bees out to people. You sell bees and send them.
We sell, this past year we sold somewhere around 10 to 11,000 packages of bees. Now, when you order a package of bees from us, and you can do that in December, and you'll have to pick it up or get it in April or May, up in that area. And those come to you in your mail, come to you in the mail. But if you don't come and pick them up, say for instance, if we got 1,000 packages delivered on a Saturday, on Friday they're delivered. Well, we go through those packages and maybe 500 of them are going to go through the postal system. So we have to get them all fixed up, you know, it's like the postal system wants them. And then on Saturday, those people that have said, okay, I'm going to be here the first Saturday you have them, they have to come and pick their bees up or they'll get shipped to them. But you know, you have to designate a Saturday that you want to pick those bees up.
Do you still use the little box?
Yes.
The little box?
Yes.
But how many bees are in a package?
They estimate about 7 to 10,000 in a 3-pound package. You get your 3-pound package of bees plus a queen.
That's a little bit of mess.
So to answer your question again, the bees are actually delivered from Georgia. We have about 2 or 3 different ones down there that raise bees for us and package them up for us and bring them up. And we've actually, in the last few years, we've actually driven down to another supplier about 5 times and got bees. So, and I've delivered bees up north to Minnesota and Wisconsin and places like that through our company, our sister company out there in Miller Manufacturing it sold. And so a lot of bees.
Yeah.
Anybody else? Everybody ready to go on a tour?
Yeah.
Yes.
All right, that's kind of form over here.